Imu's world is yet to be complete. We saw this chapter, Saint Nerona Imu absolutely dominating. And we're about to get Loki versus Imu. So, I had a theory about Imu. And I made a short about it, but I wasn't happy with it and took it back down. And it's all about this line Imu said and some other lines in the manga where Imu said, Imu's world is yet to be complete. Then we had Rocksteady Sebek. When asked, what is this? What is this thing we are seeing here, this shadow blob thing? Which was Imu possessing Saturn at the time. And Rocksteady's back said, Sekai, the world. So he didn't say, oh, that's the ruler of the world. No, he said, that's the world. When Saturn on Egghead asked Augur, what are you after? What is Blackbeard after? What does Blackbeard want? And the answer was Sekai, the world. Now remember, Blackbeard was also on God Valley. He was 3 years old, yes, or it was 3 years. But he was there. And events as traumatic as these don't just go away. Also, his mother got off the island with him. So even though later on he's like going on Whitebeard's ship and he's telling him, I'm an orphan, please take me onto your ship. For one, that doesn't have to be true, like, oh no, it's impossible, Blackbeard's mom is dead, so because Blackbeard said he's an orphan, and we know Blackbeard is an honest guy, he would never lie to anyone, right? No, wrong. Maybe Blackbeard's mom is alive, that's another theory. It doesn't matter here. Point being is, Imu has now been referred 2 times as the world. And Imu himself said, Imu's world is yet to be complete. Why is it not complete? Is it because he hasn't sunk every single island on the world yet? He hasn't flooded the entire world yet? It's not all water yet? There are still these pesky humans squirming around on the ground? Maybe, possible. But I'm here today for another theory. And I'm probably wrong on this. It's a crackhead theory. I might be absolutely wrong about it. But I would regret not putting it out either way. I think the Saint Nerona Imu we saw last chapter, this chapter, is not Imu-sama. He looks different, we see this. Imu-sama went to Elbaf. Imu-sama went to Elbaf, yes. Imu-sama is the black, shadowy blob thing. That's not a silhouette, that's how Imu looks like. That's how he looks like. Then the black goo came off and we got Saint Nerona Imu, the badass walking the entire island of Elbaf right now. But in this chapter, Saint Nerona Imu is arriving at the island. He's jumping in the middle of all the giants and asking them, who's the king of this island? Now this is weird. Because Imu knows, Imu-sama knows, Elbaf has no king right now. He knows Yarul is the appointed leader right now, but he's not a king. He's just like taking care of business because Harald died years ago. Loki was born to a tree, who's technically the next king in row, but he's not because he supposedly killed all the soldiers. It was that believed that he did, and killed his father. He actually killed his father, that he actually did. But no. So Imu-sama knows there is no king. But Saint Nerona Imu is jumping down here and is asking, searching for the king. Why? Why is he asking that? And also he's looking at Summers like kind of confused, like, Summers, what are you doing? What are you doing, Summers? Now, that could be just comedic, but it's more like Saint Nerona Imu right here doesn't know all the things the Shadow Blob Imu who possessed Gunko knew, does he? He flies past Gunko and saves her, and he goes and saves killing him. And he then, at the end of the chapter, meets Loki, and Loki's like, where else would I have been? Of course I was in Elbaf. And yes, Imu-sama would have known this. Imu-sama met Loki before, like just a few minutes, few hours, like 30 minutes back maybe, at best. He met Loki. Loki was the one that froze him and Gunko. He knows that's Nidhogg in his transformed state. He knows this. And he knows Loki killed his father. He knew this. No? But why does Saint Nerona Imu not know this? Well, my theory is that Imu-sama, the Shadow Blob creature, is an amalgamation of 19 kings from the Void Century. There were 20 kings that founded the world government. But one of them didn't stay in Marie-Joie. One of them left. Saint Nefertari Vivi. Or Di Vivi. No, Lili, not Vivi. I'm getting these names mixed up. Sorry. Nefertari Di Lili. Ancestor of our Vivi, of our Nefertari Di Vivi, as we know now. And Lily spread the poneglyphs over the world, spreading information about the world government, about the Void Century, things Imu doesn't want the world to know. She spread those, and Imu assumed all of this happened by mistake. Imu is obsessed with Lily. He is a portrait of her, and he wants Vivi. We have even 2 chapters back a panel of him asking to get Vivi to him. Why does he need Vivi? Why does he need Vivi? And why does he have Gunko? Which her real name is Shuri, and she's a princess of a country. But Shuri has blue hair and 2 different eye colors. Maybe for Imu, looking very similar to Lily. Maybe he was like, maybe that's an ancestor. Maybe that's her ancestor. Maybe I can have her because I need to be complete. Imu needs to be complete. What does complete mean? Well, what I'm saying is that Imu is 19 people in one body. Imu-sama is this. Not Saint Nerona Imu we see in this chapter. Saint Nerona Imu is one of the 19 people. That's just one of them. Now he might be the most able-bodied out of the 19. He might be the best fighter out of the 19. I'm not saying that there's 18 fighters just as strong as Saint Nerona Imu in those bodies. No, I'm not saying that, but what I'm alluding to is Imu needs Vivi to become complete. For Mu's world to be complete, he needs Vivi. Vivi is becoming very important in the end of One Piece. Like, Oda told us once again, he reminded us once again, last chapter, hey, remember, Imu, he tore up Luffy's and Blackbeard's posters and was like, yeah, I hate these guys, but I need Vivi. I want Vivi. Bring me Vivi. I need this woman. And at first I was like, yeah, maybe he's just like in love with Lily, and now is like he has a thing for blue-haired women. But now I'm like, yeah, there's probably more to it. No, that can't just be it. I'm thinking, if he was to get Vivi, he might be able to absorb her with a pact. It has to be consensual, probably, in some way. Absorb her with a pact and become what he wanted to become 800 years ago, but didn't succeed because Lily was like, nah, mates, I'm not in. You all want to become one thing? No, that's cool. I'm not in. So what does this mean for the other 19 bodies? So yes, there's technically would mean there's 18 other bodies in the Shadow Amalgamation, and Imu could have 18 other forms. Those are way too many forms for all of them to be relevant. Like, I'm sorry, a villain in an anime manga with 18 different forms, that's too many forms, man. And that's why I'm like, maybe Saint Nerona Imu is the most able-bodied, is the only one that's actually capable of like really fighting really badly, really hard. And if at best, there might be 1 or 2 or 3 other forms that are able of fighting. But it's still interesting of this being having absorbed all these humans, mostly, I guess. Maybe some of them weren't human, maybe there were fishmen among them. I don't know. Probably not, because the government hates fishmen. They despise them, see them as lower. So those are the essentials. That's the big theory, basically. And I'm not the only one who noticed like the memory lapses of Imu. Like I just watched an O'Hara video, and he mentioned it. He mentioned this as well, that like it's kind of weird that Imu doesn't know all these things he's supposed to know. And O'Hara had like a different theory about how the body that is used is like the body of Joy Boy, and it's just a fighting body Imu uses. I'm not in for that, because Oda in the manga panel told us this is Saint Nerona Imu. And the interesting thing about that for me was, he didn't tell us that the Shadow Block creature is Saint Nerona Imu. It was introduced to us as Imu Sama, as Lord Imu, as God Imu, but not as Saint Nerona Imu. No, this body is Saint Nerona Imu. This is Saint Nerona Imu's body. This is his real, normal, human-like body. His flesh and blood, not goo and whatever that is. Then again, the goo form Imu also had the devil's tail. We had the goo form Imu attack Sabo with the devil's tail in the throne room, and it hurt hard. So goo form Imu might just be a thing to do. Like, I might be absolutely wrong about this theory about the 19 bodies. I'm aware of that. But it's fun. It's a fun theory. And if I'm right, holy shit. And if I'm wrong, it's like, It was a fun theory. Wrong though. Just like my Loki Devil Fruit theories. Those were fun. All wrong. Except when we finally got to see Loki and I was like, yeah, that's Nidhogg. Oda told us that's Nidhogg. Oda even put the Nidhogg Dream Demon right next to it and it looks the same, just smaller. That's Nidhogg. Loki is Nidhogg. And people were still like coping and saying, oh, maybe it's not Nidhogg. And I was like, no, Oda told us straight up it's Nidhogg. Like, that's not me calling it really, it's just Oda telling us straight up and I'm like picking up on it. Yeah, but I was so wrong about Loki's Devil Fruit. Was right about other stuff, but wrong about many things as well. And that's half of the fun of theorizing. If you found the theory at least entertaining, maybe leave a like. Subscribe for more of this. Have a good one. Bye bye.